This conference will now be recorded.
Hey, welcome guys. Today is fifth session of my 19C Oracle 19C-DBA free workshop. So in last four session we did practical things. Now we have created the virtual machine. We have created the Linux in that machine. We had did Linux commands which is required for the DBA, and the last we did a 19c software binary installation, and then we created the database through DBCA, right? So today we will do some theoretical things, like the first point, which is showing on the screen, that is Oracle database architecture. So in that, the first word comes in the mind of the DBA, that is database server. So generally we called as database server. So what is database server? Database server is the key to information management. What does it mean? Means a server which manage a large amount of data in a multi-user environment, so that user can concurrently access the same data, right? So database server also prevents unauthorized access and provides efficient solutions for failure recovery. So in general term, we say about these things related to database server. Now an Oracle database server consists of one database and at least one database instance. Generally we called as instance. So instance and a database are so closely connected, so the term Oracle database is sometimes used to refer to for both to both instance and database, right? So the second point is, what is database? So database is basically a set of files located on disk that store the data, and these files can exist independently of a database instance. So that is the one line definition for the database. And if we talk about database instance, so database instance is a set of memory structure that manage database file, and the instance consists of shared memory area, we called as SGA, and a set of background processes. Okay, and an instance can exist independently of database files. If we can see this diagram, let me show the diagram to you guys. So this is the diagram of instance. In instance, you can see that there is a shared global area and background processes. And in shared global area, we had shared pool, that is a compulsory memory component. Then we have database buffer cache, that is also compulsory memory component. Then redo log buffer, that is also compulsory or mandatory component. And then we had fixed SGA. So these four memory components are permanent, and rest like large pool, Java pool, stream pools will come when you will configure it, right? And background processes, mainly we had pmon, smon, dbwr, lgwr, ckpt, and some other background process. So this diagram is a simple instance diagram, okay? And this architecture shows the database and instance. So for each user connection to the instance, a client process runs the application, and each client process is associated with its own server process, okay? So the server process has its own private session memory, which is called as PGA. So after SGA, we had second memory, that is PGA. We will discuss in detail in later sessions. Okay. So Oracle database is a set of physical structure files and memory structure, and application can interact with multiple logical database inside a single physical database, or you can say a single logical database distributed across multiple physical databases. Okay. Excuse me. So this is a structure of memory component. Now go back to my sheet. Okay. So after this comes to database storage structure. So database can be considered a physical and logical structure. And physical data is a data which you can see at the operating system level. Like operating system utility, you are using ls and ps can list the database files and processes, and logical data like table is meaningful only for the database, and SQL statement can list the tables in an Oracle database, but an operating system utility cannot see the things. Okay, so the database has physical structures and logical structures. Because the physical and logical structure are separate, so you can manage the physical storage of data without affecting access to logical storage structure. Suppose if you are renaming a physical database file, does not rename the tables whose data is stored in that files. Okay, so I hope you get my point. So physical storage, if we come to physical storage, so physical storage structure which has files that stores the data. So when you execute a create database statement, then these files are created. The first file is data files, then control files, and then online redo log files. So these files are the mandatory files. So what is data files? Every Oracle database has one or more physical data files which contains all the database data. And the data of logical database structure such as table, indexes is physically stored in the data files. So that is data files. And control files, every Oracle database has a control file, and control file contains metadata specifying the physical structure of the database, including the database name and the location of the database files and online redo log files. And control file has two sections. One section which stores the database informations, and one section stores the backup and recovery information when you do backup and recovery through RMAN. Okay. And online redo log files basically is a set. uh, every Oracle database has an online redo log file which is a set of two or more online redo log files. And online redo log is basically stores the redo entries we called as redo log records. Basically redo entries are those entries which user had done the changes into the database. So that changes basically stored in the memory first, and then from memory it will transfer to the files. So those files are online redo log files. Okay. And regarding these three files, we had parameter files, which is the first file to access to create the database instance. So we will discuss later in separate sessions about the parameter files. And we have parameter files like p file or sp file, and we had network files like listener.ora, tnsnames.ora, and sqlnet.ora. So these are the network files. and archive redo log files are those files which stores the old redo entries from the redo log files. When we put my database in archive log mode, then these files will come into the picture. And if you are taking a backup through rman or user manage, then you have backup files. So these are the files. Then you have alert log files and background trace file, user trace file, and many other files. Okay, so that is physical structure of the database. Now come to logical storage structure. So as I said, logical storage structure enable Oracle database to have a fine-grained control of disk space usage. So what does it means? Whenever we want to stores the data, it will stores in the blocks. Okay, so the first term in logical storage is data blocks. Actually, it written in reverse order. First table space will come, then in table space segment will come, and then extent will come, and then at the last data block will come, and then OS block will come. Okay, but to understand of the architecture, I have started from data blocks. So this is the place where Oracle database stores the data, and one Oracle data block is basically corresponding to OS block, and that OS block size may be in bytes and kilobytes and megabytes. It depends on which type of disk you are using. And extent is basically a specific number of logically contiguous data blocks obtained in single allocation and used to store a specific type of information. And top of extent segment will come. So segment is a set of extents allocated for a user object. Suppose you are creating a table, so first segment will allocate, and in segment extent will allocate, and in extent your data block will come, like that. Okay, so segments are many types, like object segment, undo segment, temporary segment. So these are specific segments which we use in database. And top of segments, we it comes table spaces. So database is divided into logical storage units, that is called as table spaces. So table space is the logical container for the segment, and segment is the logical container for the extent, and extent is the logical container for the data blocks. So like that you can say about the logical structure. So each table space consists of at least one data file, that is physical things in the database. Clear, guys? Any questions so far?
So one table space can be in one data file or more than one data file.
No, data file comes under the table space. Table space is a logical area, and inside that data files will come. So one table space contains many data files. At least one data file is necessary to create the table space. Without that, you cannot create the table space.
Okay.
Oh,
Thank you.
any other questions? Okay, then come to database instance structure. So as I said, database instance uses memory and processes to manage and access the database. So all memory structure exists in the main memory of the computer that constitute the RDBMS, Relational Database Management System. So whenever application connect to an Oracle database, they connect to basically a database instance. So instance basically a services application by allocating any other memory areas in addition to the SGA, and starting other background processes additionally which is required. So whenever instance is started, Oracle database allocates a memory area, that is SGA, and start one or more background processes. And SGA will do some things for the database. So what it will do, it will maintain internal data structure that many processes and threads accesses concurrently, and it will cache the database blocks from which read from the disk, and it also buffering redo data before writing it to the online redo log files. So it will store into the redo log buffer, and it will store SQL execution plan, so that will store in shared pool. And Oracle processes running on a single computer share the SGA. So that the way in which Oracle processes associate with the SGA varies according to the operating system. So database instance, you can say, has two components. One is SGA and another one is background processes. And after that, before background processes, there is another process, that is server process, and the memory allocated in this process also exists in the instance. So the instance continues to function when server processes terminate. Okay, so this is Oracle database instance structure. And after that, the next point is coming, Oracle database processes. So what is Oracle database processes? Oracle process is basically a mechanism in an operating system that can run a series of steps, and some operating system use the terms like job, task, or thread, but generally we called as process. So thread is equivalent to a process. An Oracle database instance has three processes, you can say. One is client process, another one is background process, and another one is server process. Okay, and in somewhere you will find client process and Oracle process, and inside Oracle process it mention server process and background processes. So it depends on which book you are reading, but in general we had these three processes. So one is client process, and another one is background process and server process. So what is client process? These processes are created and maintained to run the software code of an application program or an Oracle tool. So most environments have separate computers for client processes. Suppose your database server was on different computer, and your client software installed on different computer. So user will exist on client software. From there it will try to connect to the database. So that is the client server architecture. And background processes, basically a process which help to the server process. Okay, so background processes asynchronously perform IO and monitor other Oracle database processes to provide increased parallelism for better performance and reliability. And server processes is basically communicate with client processes and interact with Oracle database to fulfill the user request. So whenever user issued a SQL statement, that statement will taken by the server process, and then server process will execute that query, and some background process will help to the server process to execute that query. So this is the way mechanism work internally. So Oracle processes, you can say, include server processes and background processes. And in most environment, Oracle processes and client processes run on separate computer, as I said already. Now another term we will discuss today, that is database instance configuration. So database we can configure in two ways. One is single instance configuration, and another one is real application cluster, or you can say rack configuration, or you can say multiple instance or node configuration. So in single instance configuration, what is the difference, and in rack what is the difference? So let me show you again the diagram. Yeah, so if you see this diagram where a single instance database is there on the left side, where one database instance is showing, and excuse me, and one database is associated with that instance, and in the database you are seeing data file, control file, and online redo log file, and right side you are seeing two instances associated to one database. So that is the rack configuration. So in single instance, one-to-one relationship exists between the database and database instance, and in rack one to many relationship exists, means between the database and the database instances, means one database and two instance is there. Okay, you can increase three instance, you can increase four instance. So in a single instance or rack instance, uh, database instance is associated with only one database at a time. Please remember that. You can start a database instance, you can mount the database instance with one database, but you cannot mount two database simultaneously with same instance. So that is the restriction, and multiple instance can run concurrently on the same computer. Okay, and each accessing its own database. Suppose you had a server where you have two production database, for prod 1 and prod 2. Okay, so one database instance manage prod 1 and another database instance will manage prod 2. So this is the difference between single instance and rack. Question please, any questions?
Yeah, so for RAC database, I think for it can be that one can be a prod, another can be a UAT or a non-prod environment on the RAC database.
No, no. We generally, for production, we create the rack actually. So in that, we are distributing the load of production database. That's why we are adding two instance, three instance, four instance. So basically, these two instance, three instance, four instance will reside on separate machine or on separate server. So you are distributing the load first thing in rack, and second you are increasing the scalability and performance. These are the things. So it doesn't matter, don't mix with UAT and development and test. Okay, so that is not related to the rack is only for production database.
Okay, so for I think load balancer, RAC database is used.
No, RAG basically is used to provide high availability. The first thing, suppose your database instance crash, your database will down, no user will access the data in single instance, right? So what we are doing, we are creating two instances for one database, one instance on one server, second instance on second server. Suppose one instance crash, so second instance is still available and running, so user will not affect, only those user will affect who are accessing the instance one. So we can also do some configuration in case of any failure, that failure instance user will transfer to running instance. So that is the way rack mechanism work actually.
Okay, when we say database instance, what does it mean actually? Is this a session
Database
or
instance is a logical area. Suppose you say memory. So what does it mean, memory? Memory is basically an area where my execution will help, execution happen, right? We can't see memory, right? Memory will created inside your server. So same way, when you are creating a database, so before creating a database, it will create a area which is a logical area, which we called as instance, or in computer language we called as memory, like this.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for explaining this.
Yeah, welcome.
Ahmad, in rack databases, you're telling that it's a database is pointing to the data files or something. It's pointing to single database or different databases.
Sorry, your voice is breaking.
Um, Ahmad, actually in rack technology, you're saying that
Hmm.
database instances is pointing to the single database only, right?
See, uh, single instance means one instance, one database, right? So if suppose
Yes.
your machine crash, so your instance will crash, your database will down, right? So user will not
Okay.
access the database. That is the single instance. So now why rack comes? Rack is providing the availability feature to my database where we had one database and we can create multiple instances for my one database, so that multiple
Okay.
instances will reside on different machines, right? But architecture should be same, and that all instance associated with one database and with one storage, right? So every instance will access the same database files which has in my one database. So that is the mechanism of rack actually.
Okay. Can we do write operations from multiple instances in rack technology?
Was rack I'm not discussing right now, so I will not go into that. Okay, I'm just
Okay. Okay.
giving
Fine.
the picture of Oracle because it will increase the time as well as increase the things which is not related to right now this topic actually. So that's why.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Fine. Thanks for that.
Okay. Okay. Now, another point to discuss about uh, that is, yeah, read and write and read only instances. So what is the meaning of that? We had read write instance, we had read only instance. So every database instance is either read or write, or you can say read only. So read write database instance, which is the default, where you can process DML operations, means you can insert, you can update, you can delete, you can merge, and it support direct connections from the client. Uh, but instead of read write, if suppose your database instance is read only, then it will support only process the queries. Okay, it will not support DML, means you cannot perform update, delete, insert, and merge. Okay, and or direct client connection. So in previous releases, all database instance, unless they access a standby database, were read write. But starting from 12.2, read only and read write instance can coexist within a single database. So this configuration is useful for parallel SQL statement that support query also and support modification also, because both read write and read only instance can query, while the read write instance modify only. So read only instance have some characteristics. First, it can open a database that has already been opened by a read write instance. And second point, it disable many background process, including the checkpoint and archiver process, which are not necessary. We will see discuss what is checkpoint process and archive process later sessions. And it can mount a disable redo thread, or thread without any online redo log file. So to instance as read only, you have to set the parameter that is instance underscore mode. Okay, so this parameter is basically you have to set to read underscore only. By default, this parameter value is read underscore write. Okay, let me show the database whether it is, excuse me, my database was down, so I am starting. So database is started. So this is the phase of no mount. Then after that it will say database mounted, and then it will say database open. So this is the way your database work actually. So show parameter instance underscore mode. So see that instance underscore mode is read write. Okay, so you want to change in read only, you have to change this parameter. Okay, so this is the point which I was telling, read write and read only. Okay. Okay, now that done. Now, yeah, duration of a database instance. So duration of the database instance is depend on my startup command as well as my shutdown command. So as you see, I have started my database. So database instance begin when it is created with the startup command, and end when it ends with shutdown command. So uh, if you see my window again to this, so if I say shut immediate, or you can say shut down immediate, so now my database will be closed. First line will come, then it will say database dismounted, then it will say database instance shutdown close. Okay, just wait, the third line will come, instance close, something like, yeah. So instance shutdown. So this is the duration, so startup and shutdown. So during this period, database instance can associate itself with one and only one database, and furthermore the instance can mount a database only once and close it once and open it only once. Okay, so after a database has been closed or shut down, you must start a different instance, or you can start same instance to mount it and open it. Let me show you practically. Here I say startup mount. Okay, now my two stage will pass. One is instance started, then database mounted. Now I'm saying alter database open. Okay, so now database will open. Now I'm forcefully closing the database. Okay, so I'm saying alter database close. Now my database is close, and where I will reach, I will reach to my database mounted stage. Okay, so now if I say again alter database open, if I say, I can do, right, but it will not work. What it is saying, database has been previously open and closed. So that is the point I want to say. Instance can mount a database only once, close it only once, and open it only once. Okay, got it, guys? So this is the practical for my statement.
Ahmed, actually, you have already closed the database. Then I think you are
Mhm.
trying to open the database. So why it is not opening? I mean,
Because it's a rule. If your database will associate it only once, when it is associated with instance, then after that it will open. But I roll back, I say close it, but again I am saying open it, so it will not open, because the error is showing same thing, that previously open and it will not open again. So that is the rule of the architecture.
Okay, so in case we need to again open it, so do we need to close the instance or shut down the
Yes,
instance?
yes,
Oh,
we can shut down the instance like this, shut immediate. So it will dismount see the line database not open because I close it. Then second line database dismounted, and then instance shut down. So this is the way.
okay, so once instance is started, we can one open it, then one close it, but we can't
Yeah.
open it again. Okay,
Yes. If you want to start again, you have to do fresh startup command like this.
okay. Can we give a name to the instance also?
We give on OS prompt here export Oracle SID like that. Which instance you want to connect, you have to provide that. Okay. Export. This is the things like Oracle underscore SID like that. Here you have to pass the name, which instance you want to connect, right? Prod 1, prod 2, like that.
Okay,
If you have multiple database, so you can use this export Oracle underscore SID. Now that I'm coming to, which was your question, that you can find out here, this last topic, identification of a database instance. So what does it mean? It means multiple database instance can reside on single server, right? So you must have provide the specific name of the instance which you want to access. That was your question, right? So there is a OFA architecture in Oracle. We follow generally configuration guidelines. Okay, so in that the first guideline is Oracle base directory. So the what is Oracle base directory? The base directory basically stores the binaries for Oracle product, and Oracle base directory is the database home directory for Oracle database installation owners. So like U01 app Oracle, so U01 is the main point, and U01 app is the subtree for application software. So like that we created. And second point, home directory. So home directory is the software location. If you remember, I have created the directory U01 app Oracle product 19.000, and then db underscore 1 or db home. So if you see here, I'm talking, just go back to my terminal. So here if I say show, no, cd underscore oracle underscore home, so where I reach, so this is the Oracle home directory, and base directory is U01 app Oracle, so that I'm talking about. So on one server you can create multiple databases. So from where you will differentiate, from a U01 app Oracle product, that is similar, and after that, you, if suppose you have 12c database, so you can say 12.1.0. If you have 18c database, you say 18.0.0. If you have 19c, so like that you can create separate multiple homes on same server, and that is differentiated by the number which comes after the product. So that is Oracle base directory, and after that Oracle home directory will comes. Okay, I hope it's clear.
yeah, got it.
So yeah, the last, which was your question, that is SID. So that is Oracle System Identifier in the database. So that is a unique name for an Oracle database instance on a specific host. So on Unix or Linux, Oracle database uses the SID and Oracle home values. Okay, and if you see my, just a second, go back to, oh, yeah, here, uh, cat, sorry, cat home oracle bash underscore profile. So see that, uh, excuse me, here see that oracle sid equals to ORCL. So that SID I'm talking about. So Oracle database uses the SID by default to locate the initialization parameter file. Okay, because parameter file is required to create the database instance. And in parameter file, we had the information of control files, database names, etc. So this is the first file which is required to start the database. Okay, so on Linux platform we use oracle underscore sid, and for Oracle home we use oracle underscore home. So whenever connecting to a database instance, clients have to specify the sid in the net connection. Okay, or he can use net service name. So we will see in later sessions what is net service name. And Oracle database converts service name into Oracle home and Oracle SID. So when the Oracle home is read write, then it will work. When the Oracle home is read only, so instance specific files are stored separately in the Oracle base. Okay, so this is the new feature which comes from 18c, where we have read only home also. Okay, so that is a different concept, and we will see later sessions. Okay, clear. So user can create a database using software in existing read only Oracle home, and then start an instance for this database using software that reside in a new read only Oracle home. Okay, so we had these features for my databases. Okay, clear.
Yes, so I think in case of RSC case, so Oracle, there can be more than one Oracle SID, right?
Yes, so instance it will be more we had my database is ORCL, right? And
Mhm.
instance will be ORCL1, ORCL2, ORCL3. Okay, so user, suppose I had three department: finance, HR, and marketing. So for finance I have assigned ORCL1 instance. So all the user who are from finance department, they will connect to that SID, right? And marketing database I have mentioned ORCL2 instance. Okay, so that user will connect to that instance. And for HR, I have assigned ORCL3 instance. So that user will connect to that instance. But all the user will access the data from one database only, where the storage is common and the files, database files are common, right? But the data which they are accessing, that will come to different instances. Got it?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's it for today, because I just want to give the overviews of architecture. It's just a beginning. Now we will see the memory architecture in more detail, like SGA. So we will discuss all the SGA component, like what is SGA, what is shared pool, what is database buffer cache, what is redo log buffer, what is large pool, what is Java pool, what is stream pool, what is fixed SGA, and what other components comes from 12c. So that we will see, and what comes in 18c, what comes in 19c in terms of memory components. So we will see that SGA part. Then we will discuss about the PGA, so what PGA has, and then the third memory, that is the UGA. So when UGA comes into the picture, where it will create, what the data inside in the UGA, what are the components of the UGA. So that all we will discuss in memory architecture in next sessions, or on another session. And then we will move to database files, locations, database actually. So in database we will discuss what is control file, what is database file. In database file we have system, sysocs, undo, temporary, user, index. So like this data files we will discuss. Then online edu log file, then archive log file, then parameter file, then alert log file. So these are the architecture related things we will discuss, and then these all are theories. So we will see in subsequent sessions whenever we do that. Okay. Any questions so far? If you have related to today's sessions, don't ask anything else.
Any documentation, I think maybe you have blogs also, right? So, or any that we can refer to. I mean, that we have actually taught us today.
See, whatever the session I'm taking, I'm uploading on my YouTube. So for memory component, I have already uploaded the one video that is around more than 1 hour. So if you go through that before the my session, next session or upcoming session, whenever it is, so you will get a more clear picture about memory architecture. So I have one sessions you can go and check on my YouTube channel. And documentations are many. You can access many blogs, you can access many books. It is in the market.
Yeah, right. I think we can just Google also, but I think that the related to the basic that we have covered, maybe I think we have a specific somewhere that you might
Yeah, that's
refer.
why I just started basic things today. If you go through this session again, you will get the picture of Oracle architecture. So I have not give so much knowledge today actually, because I want to go step by step. Okay. So if we directly jump to SGA and to discuss about what is database buffer cache, what is block buffer, what is shared pool, so it will it will gone. Okay. So that's why according to the my experience, I'm telling the things, so that will be helpful for you guys if you are new to Oracle database.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you for today's sessions joining us, and next session will be on Friday, I think. Today is Wednesday. So next session will be Friday, and after that Monday. So like that we will go Monday, Wednesday, Friday, like that. If suppose we miss any session, we will pass to next coming days to arrange the sessions. Okay. And after recording will be finished, I will try to upload today or maybe tomorrow morning. You can access and revise the things. So thanks for watching my YouTube channel. If you subscribe, then very good. If you didn't, then please subscribe the channel so you will get the notification whenever I am uploading any new videos. Okay. So thank you very much, guys. Good night.
Thank you.